Look at how many stories have come out of Germany and the Nazi persecution of the Jews. Part of the spirit of this age is that justice will be done. This is the dawn of a new day. And what was covered by night is now open and manifest to everyone. This play is part of that process. It's not necessarily to plaster the world with the knowledge of it, but maybe to plant some seeds.
This play is about giving. This play is about love. This play is about transcending this mortal coil for something so much larger.
I think it was a story that needed to be told.
Everybody loves Mona.
More about that later. Tonight is going to be probably our biggest house yet, if the weather doesn't keep people away. I don't know, people in North Carolina.
Yeah. Actually, we have 6 keys.
You know that. Every performance is new. Don't forget about sharing. I could hear better last night. You're doing better. Good. So, remember. Your job is to perform. I have complete confidence in each of you. You are all have done excellent work. There's no question about whether you can do it. But we have to be I guarantee you, there are people in this audience tonight who will be changed forever if you tell Mona's story with your heart. Her face became the symbol of the senselessness of those persecutions. How could this young woman, so full of life, you just see it in the picture. What harm did she pose to that society?
Mona was a 16-year-old girl who grew up in the Baha'i faith in Iran.
At the point the story is unfolding in 1982-83, the Baha'is were forbidden to go to public school and universities in Iran.
And Baha'is were being persecuted. Suddenly, her position is very precarious. She teaches a group of school children, so she's a Baha'i teacher, so she's targeted for this persecution.
You know, it's compressed in the play, but what happened in real life is that she was arrested along with her father, and he was put to death before her, and she was put to death with 9 other Baha'i women who refused to renounce their faith.
The 10 women that died on that day were given ample opportunity to recant their faith and supposedly would be granted their freedom for that.
And they all said, we cannot say what we believe to be true is not true.
None of the mullahs or the persecutors could move them. They were very steadfast.
It was very significant because while many, many Baha'is had been put to death before, they hadn't been putting women to death. And it really created quite a public outcry.
Mona was the youngest of them. She was 16 at the time.
Ozzy and I were both on pilgrimage together. She came from Australia, I came from Iowa. And we had met several days before, and we had become friends. And I invited her to come to watch the sunrise over Mount Carmel. So we're up at the top of Mount Carmel watching the sunrise over the just completed terraces. This beautiful picture.
Then he told me he wrote a play about Mona. And I said, wow, I knew Mona. We were family friends.
The magic of the Holy Land was doing its work. And I felt about this big.
Mona was amazing. She, as a teenager, she wasn't a shy person. She could laugh, she could cry if she wanted to. And I remember one day at Nowruz time, we had lunch together at our house. And then we decided to go visit other people, friends. And Iran, there's no limit for seat in the car. We were about 10 people in one car. And she just recently learned a prayer. And my sister asked her, Mona, could you chant that prayer? And she just started chanting, in the car, and she was just amazing. She was so happy, but at the same time, she never hid, how she feels about the moment. And her hero, an example, was her father, and she exactly did what he did, at the end. So.
You have to look at this dream as a great gift, Mona. Service to mankind. The dress was blue, the young man was dashing.
Oh, I didn't think dashing.
He said he looked like me. Aha! Very nice!
I just like the character, and I like the play as well. And I thought, this is powerful, and this was written from a need to write.
I ran into Mark and Azadeh at the grocery store, and they said, you know what, we're going to do a production of A Dress for Mona here in North Carolina. And I was like, well, that's great. I used to do some theater. If I can be helpful in any way, just let me know. And he said, well, why don't you audition? I thought, well, gee, I haven't done anything in 7 or 8 years. Okay.
And I'd seen the audition announcements, but I hadn't been looking for anything to be in. But he gave me his play, and he said, read it, and just promise me that when you finish, give me a call, and we'll have some coffee, and I'd like to know what you think. So I did, and we did.
We talked on the phone, and he sent me a script, and I really liked the script. It was, for me, once I read his script, and I thought, this is something I really would like to do.
So I called Mark and I said, listen, man, I have blonde hair. Is this okay to be an Iranian boy? And he said, don't worry about it, man.
This group, this drama circle, is the most amazing bunch of individuals I have ever worked with.
We all have a lot of fun together. We really do.
It's a good time. It's passionate. It's exciting. You meet people, and it's not a job. You don't have to be responsible. It's about being part of the team. No, you got it.
It's tough to write a play about people who are still living. So this angle on the story, The Dream of the Three Dresses, gave us a way in. Gave the audience a way in.
A gift
From God.
The way I heard it, Mona was offered a choice of 3 dresses in a dream. What we all know is that Mona wore each of these 3 dresses. She served when she was teaching these children's classes. She suffered in those 8 months in prison, and she finally wore the red garment of martyrdom.
The challenge, as Mark puts it, is to make her human, or to bring out, or to express her humanity throughout the play.
His approach was more like, you should, find out what your character wants by yourself. I'm not going to tell you easily.
It was kind of difficult for me because I don't tend to be that kind of a person myself. So it presented a challenge.
Since my character obviously is Muslim in the play, I took it upon myself to do some research on Islam and on Baha'i, so I actually had 2 religions for the price of 1.
This has been, way more than I can handle. I can't come close to giving life to this guy, and that's a sobering experience.
I've always thought that Mr. Elizadeh is the most conflicted and complicated character I've ever taken on.
No free thinker is safe in this society. Mr. Lise, didn't you say that?
That doesn't mean that we throw ourselves into the
Do you
fire.
think you're the only one who should sacrifice?
It's absurd. I love what I do. I've sacrificed enough.
And if I told you I love my faith more than anything else?
Then I would say that you're a fool. You're a fool to throw your life away for words.
Words?
Words, that's all they are. Not like words in a book.
I hope that this play can foster understanding, not just of the Baha'is and Mona's story, but also of, the whole culture in Iran.
Attention, prisoners, attention! The religious magistrate has ordered that Baha'i prisoners are no longer to associate with Muslim prisoners. Muslim prisoners are no longer to associate with Baha'i prisoners. Head prisoners in each cell are required to enforce this order. That is all.
I didn't expect to face this situation, but I have not been abandoned. I'm seeing things clearly now. Life and death. They don't mean the same things anymore. Everything around us is telling us how fleeting life is. But God is present with us in this very moment, Mr. Elizabeth.
It's a beautiful story, and I hope that everyone will realize that that it's possible to have such faith, and yeah, it made me cry.
There's this 16-year-old girl who so firmly believes in what she's there for and what she's about to be put to death for, that she's willing to stand up and sacrifice herself. And I think it impacted the people around her who saw that.
From what I've heard or read, she was a very, very pure soul and a very helpful person, and just all the good attributes. And yeah, there you got it. There's Mona.
She was a young girl. She probably had the same thoughts and hopes and dreams as many young girls the world over. It touches on that in the play, some kind of thoughts of boys and marriage and what is my life going to be.
Mona's case is particularly touching because she is so young. We look at children and we say they have their whole lives ahead of them. How could someone like Mona be so sure that that's what she wanted to do, is sacrifice herself?
What is happening to your service? We denied you rights of citizenship. We had you expelled from schools, fired from jobs. Your leaders were executed. Your holy places were destroyed. Do you see what is happening to your potential for service?
And when the clergy persecuted Baha'is and Babis, their plan was to, extinguish the faith, extinguish the light. But it's still growing, it's still spreading.
I think what she realizes is that she gets the honor of sacrificing herself for God, and she also is able to serve at the same time. Her death serves a purpose.
Now you feel that breath surging in and out of your nostrils. You feel that hot, moist breath surging in and out. Well, I can take that away too, Mona. How will you serve then, when Mona is no more?
Then somehow I will serve. In death.
Serve whom, Mona? Do you think anyone will ever remember what has happened to you here?
I really didn't know that much about Iran or anything, and it was definitely eye-opening.
The bigger fear wasn't losing her life physically, but that she would lose her faith, because that's a struggle that I think everyone goes through, whether they're being threatened with martyrdom or any other challenge or test they're going through.
The play just answers the question that was asked to Mona, what do you think you can do? This proves that her spirit goes on and she's actually able to be of more service through her death, and even 20 years later to a generation that wasn't even alive at the time of her execution.
why did they give their life in the first place? It may have been for their own faith, it may have been for God, but I also believe it was for us as Baha'is to continue on. Mona was able to serve humanity by giving her life. And in turn, she's giving us the ability to serve mankind because of her sacrifice.
I almost lost it there, but my father said, Mona, they hit me, and after a while, I don't feel the pain anymore. Love, Mona, only love. You must not hate them or be angry with them. Answer them bravely and honestly. We have nothing to hide.
Love Mona, only love. I mean, that's the heart of the guy. It's the heart of the Baha'is approach to life, I think. You know, if I may be so bold as to say, I think that strikes at the heart of it.
So, you know, we can all see beauty and loveliness in someone we're attracted to. But what about the person who is there about to destroy you, or who wants to destroy you? How do you get your mind around the fact that God is still behind this? That this is just your watchman who is leading you to climb up the wall. This world is longing for plays that are hopeful, plays of stories that can make sense of seeming senselessness. How can we justify man's evil toward man? If not by saying that ultimately good will triumph. Mona's story is saying exactly that. It's saying, how can you kiss the hand of the executioner? How can you kiss the rope? Unless you're mad. Mona was not mad. Mona was sane, but she had a vision that was different than our everyday vision.
In this great human garden, even as flowers grow and blend together side by side, even as flowers grow and blend together side by side by side.